Good morning, members of council and Williamsburg County citizens. We're going to go ahead and call our Finance and Budget Committee meeting to order. And we're going to have the invocation delivered by, how about Sam? Councilman Floyd.
Let us pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this beautiful summer day, a day like never before and a day like will never be again. Now, Lord, as we gather together to work on this budget for the citizens of this county, Lord, we ask the decisions that we make will be in their best interest and will be pleasing in your sight. We ask all these blessings in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Floyd. We're going to deviate slightly from the agenda, and we're going to skip, go from not having the discussion at this time, but going into having the appearances. So the first person that is on our appearances list is the IT department.
Can we cut that sound up a little?
The first person to go up is the, if all you can hear me now, that better?
Mr. Lee?
That's a little better, yeah.
He says a little better.
That better? Okay. We are going to go out of order slightly, and we're going to go ahead and get those who are here for appearances to go first, and then we will get back into the discussion and the review of the budget. Is that okay with members of council? All right, thank you. Our first person for appearance is our IT department director, Jeff Wilkins.
Good morning, members of council. I'll be brief. Our current county phone system is coming to end of life, and it's coming to end of life very soon. Just so you know, we have been pricing phone systems for a time now and waiting for a chance to get the funds to actually purchase a phone system. But as of till now, we haven't been able to do that. But now we're at a crossroads to where our current system is going to be end of life in a matter of months. And when that happens, we will lose all support and some functionality with the county phone system. And just so you know, our county phone system encompasses just about every county building that we have in the county. So we, as in me and Carl, have been pricing some phone systems. And in the process of doing that, we realized how good the Williamsburg County phone system is and the features that it has, because other phone systems does not have the phone features that we have currently. So we got a price to upgrade our current phone system for the vendor, and I have given that to you now. And it comes to about $4,946.67, which comes to about $59,000 yearly. I also had a quote from a local vendor, and their quote came to nearly $8,500 more than our current system. And it did not have all the bells and whistles. Even if we upgrade to this phone system, we're going to get even more features than we have now. Conference lines, every extension. We won't have to have a separate county conference line, so we can cut that price. We'll be able to Zoom through our phone system. We'll be able to go to the buildings that currently don't have extensions, like our landfill and some of our EMS and fire departments, and we can install phones there and they can have their own extensions now. And with the new phone system, you will be able to virtually answer your phone from anywhere, even council. We can give you extensions. You can answer from your home, hotel, wherever you are, computer, cell phone, and it'll look like they're calling to, and you'll be calling from your Williamsburg County extension, even though you're using your cell phone. So it's an awesome system, but as y'all know, with technology, awesomeness cost. And if we pull the trigger on this, the company has agreed to cut out the first 3 months. So that would give us a savings of almost $15,000. And again, I want to reiterate, this, we have to do something. It's like anything else, a computer, a car, a phone. After so long, it's going to cease to work. We've done really good keeping our equipment working up to this point. So I just wanted to let you know that We need to do something as a county or we're going to lose our phone system. You have any questions for me?
Our current cost of our phone system is what at this time?
That's kind of what I was asking. That's what I
The
was getting at.
contract, as it states right now, will be for 3 years. Under South Carolina procurement law, we don't have to rebid at all because we're staying with the same company. It's just it's considered like a maintenance, and it's an exemption. So as we stay with the same company, we don't have to do any bidding. But if we go out, we have to bid.
All right, so which company is the cheaper, the same company or another
The
company?
same company was the cheapest and more features.
How did we get bids from another company without going through procurement?
We didn't do a bid, I just requested quotes. It wasn't a bid process.
Now, this next question is, Mr. Jenkinson, does that lawsuit that we settled, does it violate the lawsuit?
It will not affect any agreements with that company.
Okay.
They will keep all their current agreements.
And certainly we appreciate your efforts. We just want to make sure we do it the right way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
One question I have, and this is something that you probably all need to know, is the fact that currently we're spending X amount of dollars on this phone system. Is the 59,000 an increase on top of it, or?
It will be an increase of everything but 13,000.
Okay.
So we could take 13,000 off the cost we're already paying.
Mm-hmm.
Because all we were paying was for support.
Okay.
With this one, it'll be for the new phone system and warranty and support for the whole. If we lose a device or phone, whatever, they replace it for free.
Mm-hmm. And all hardware is included in this?
Yes, ma'am. We will have to have any hardware on site, which we currently do. So now we will not have to have any hardware on site, which helps us with that part too.
Total cost is 59,000, it's not 59 less 13.
It's 59 less 13 because we're already paying. Yes, sir.
But that's just for the first year, right?
No,
That's for
we're
the,
currently paying about 13 a year
Okay, gotcha.
in maintenance. So it's going to be 59 less 13. That is correct.
so 46,000 a year.
13,000.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions, members of council? All right.
Thank you.
Hearing none. What do you all want to do with this? You want us to look at this or add this to our budget discussion? How do you guys want to handle this?
Well, do we have to discuss this in executive session, considering what else we have going on?
No, you can't, no, the only thing we will be discussing, because there is no executive session item on here, the only thing that we're going to be discussing is the budget. You cannot go into executive session at this point.
Under,
You cannot.
under my understanding, as long as we don't cancel anything with our current provider, we're good moving forward because we're already using this as a vendor, right? Right. That was my understanding, as long as we don't cancel anything. And that is the case here. We will not be canceling anything with the provider in question.
Right.
Mr. Jenkinson, do you think that's something we need to discuss in executive session regarding?
So we can table this for now, but I just want to just make note, it's the same company we're using as of right now, today. It's no different, but we can table it and then we can do it in an executive session,
So
discuss
then
it.
would it be in the same company so we can make a decision to go ahead and move forward?
You can, if
Because
that's the
it's
choice
not
of
new
council.
business or anything
It's
of that
not,
nature?
we're not switching anyone. It's just what we have in existence right now.
That's correct.
It's nothing changes, nothing.
It's not a bid.
It's not a bid.
It's not a bid
No.
because we're already in business with this company. It's considered maybe maintenance or upgrade, but it's the same vendor.
So just
That's why it
requesting-
falls under that South Carolina procurement exemption. No. current
Upgrading.
System because it's going end of life, so we're just upgrading it. It's the same company we're already with. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. That's basically what we're doing. We're doing a new contract with the same company.
Okay. Okay,
Okay?
so this,
So, will we vote to not, I mean, at this point, I think we need to wait because at this time, the budget issues that we're having right now, we're going to have to figure out how to do it, but we probably don't need to figure that out right now.
Yes, ma'am.
That's just my opinion.
Information purposes only.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll look at it to see what we
Correct.
can figure out.
Correct. We don't want to change nothing right now. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for your
We'll
time.
reserve this for information purposes. Our next order of business, our next appearance is Williamsburg County Historical Society. Mr. Bailey, you speaking on behalf of the Historical Society? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor, members of council. You know my passion about history and our museum and what we do. So let me just make it very simple. In the budget is $1,000 a year. It used to be around $8,000 or $9,000 a year. But since, as you know, we've opened our new African-American annex, which is not really an annex, it's called archives. And the actual grand opening, we've been in, matter of fact, this week, working out the final details of getting the final exhibits in and getting everything done to set a date for the grand opening, probably this fall. And what we're finding, and we've been told you before, it is costing us around $12,500 a year just to pay the utilities and maintenance, the upkeep, and such. Now, that's fine. Be that as it may, last year, I made these same remarks. I asked council if council is going to, when we requested after the first of the year, $500 from your discretionary account like we did last year, then we can leave it alone. We'll make it work. That only comes to about $4,500 plus the $1,000 be $5,500. We will raise the additional amount of money to pay the budget item. But I will tell you, we run on a shoestring. We have no employees except one part-time employee that's paid just a small amount of money. Wendell Voiselle does a wonderful job. I know the impact of this is going to be, already is significant. A lot of great things are happening, and we thank you for what you've done in the past. Questions? I look forward to making this request in July.
Thank you. Information purposes. Our next group is our Kennedy Center representative.
Good morning, Madam
Morning.
Supervisor, Clerk, members of council. I've asked to join me here this morning, the Director of Vital Aging and the Board Chair of the Vital Aging Group. And it's because, I was before you all here several weeks back about restoring the funds to the Kennedy Center. And I hadn't heard anything back, and I'm here to try to figure out, what is it that that you guys are planning on doing for us. And let me just say that, the last couple of years, we've offset ourselves, the town of Greeleyville, the amount of monies that you all did not give us, which is like $10,000 cut from the original amount. And we've had lost revenue over the last couple of years simply because pandemic and that type thing. And we just can't continue, especially on this budget year, with offsetting that $10,000. I mean, we pretty much have our budget in by now, but we are waiting and we are having the second and final reading sometime next week, simply because we need to find out where this is going before we can complete the town's budget. And my thing is, I would hate to see the amount of days that the seniors use the center over there reduce. And I don't know that Vital Agent has any plan to come up with the additional funds needed to keep the building operated the way it's operating. And one of the unique thing over there, and they're in the process of signing up quite a few more people that I've heard about and different things, but I think right now we've got like 4 people over there, 4 persons that actually are from the town of Greeleyville. A lot of these folks are from Lane, Salters, wherever, that's not even in that district. We got folks that's not even in that district that's going to the center. So I'm just making a plea to council, you know, if it's any way possible to renew the funding. You know, we got, like right now, I got 5 units at that building over there, and 3 of the 5 are down right now. And so, I mean, you know, time we hit July, we probably spending $5,000-$6,000 or more just to get the AC back up and running for the summer. I mean, they can't sit in there in this 100 degrees temperature with 2 units running. So, I mean, that's just where we are. Any questions from anyone?
So you said that your revenue was down, it's 10, I wrote it down on the pad at that last meeting, what you asked for was 10,000? Is that what it was? Is that what it was?
So you're asking, what were we initially appropriating for them?
Yeah, it was
Well-
$2,500.
Right, it was a
Was being appropriated.
$950,000 difference.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, we couldn't, I mean, don't mind, you know, taking a slight cut if we could get the 10, 5 and not the 12. We'll try to deal with that. But there's no way we could go from 12,000 to 2,500. I mean, and that's the way it's been for the last 2 or 3 years. Started back in 19, and from the supervisor, we got a check to offset one of those years here a while back, but the other 2 years, we're still minus the $10,000. And from the way it was proposed for now, we're still minus that 10,500, I think. Okay, 10 even. All right.
Okay, any other questions, members of council? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes,
Oh.
Madam Supervisor, Mayor. We do appreciate the partnership with the town so much for our seniors. And I just want to also add that we are running, as far as our agency right now, extremely tight. Of course, we, of course, experience, like all outside agencies, a cut in our allocation. And other costs that have been really hard for us is our food costs have risen tremendously over the last year. We had a 14.5% increase on the frozen meals that go to that freezer and once a month. And last week, I just got another increase from our vendor around 6%. And of course, I know y'all are dealing with the fuel cost as we are, so I need not tell you what's going on with fuel. And we do treasure and cherish the seniors that we serve, that benefits from these services. And we do serve, as the Mayor said, we go down to Lane, we go down to Salters, and even Trio to bring the clients into this center. For the ones that have no transportation, which there are, you know, a lot of folks that just don't have the ways to come and go. But I just thank you for your time today, and if you got any questions. Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions while they're still here? No? Okay. Thank you all. And now we can go back into We can begin to discuss the review of the third reading of the 2022-2023 operating budget.
Good morning, Madam Supervisors and members of council. I wish I had a magic wand so I could meet all of the financial needs of the county and outside agencies. Unfortunately, I don't have a magic wand today, but I do have some good news for third reading of the county budget. Financial operating circumstances is very challenging on a day-to-day basis. Sitting in the seat as Chief Financial Officer, it's not an easy task. Let me just say that to you. There are many late evenings and working on the weekend to make sure that our vendors are paid, that employees are paid, and that we meet our debt obligation. I thank all the county department heads, the county treasurer office, who the finance office work very closely with for all of their assistance. But it is very challenging, and I just want the members of council to know that it is a challenge. Good news, we have seen some improvement in our tax collection and some other revenue items. And as we go through this budget review, those increases will be identified. We also, in your budget review package that you got today, you have a list of increases that have been mandated by the state.
Where should be this sheet?
If you turn to your budget review,
Everybody see it? Does everyone see it?
it looks like this. It has budget review, budget increases, and budget requests. This is for the general fund only. Some of the budget increases that we have addressed in this budget, let me just say balanced budget. The budget is balanced at third reading with all of these increases from the state of South Carolina and other expected increases. Our group health insurance, there's an 18.10% increase mandated by the state. Amount of that increase is equivalent to $242,347.01. We also have retirement increases, our regular group retirement. That increase is $17,444.52. Our police retirement is $4,954.01. We're expecting gas and fuel to increase by 4.35%. That's an increase of $16,239.06. Electricity is also expected to increase next fiscal year. That's a percentage increase of 4.80%. That amounts to $23,906.52. Our workers' comp has increased by $52,112. The total increases is $357,312. All of these increases have been met in the budget through increases, identified increases in revenues, including tax revenues and non-tax revenues. So we're happy to hear that. We also need to consider We do have budget requests from other outside agencies and county department. If you look down your list, we have all the requests that have been asked of us during this budget process. The total outside requests for all outside agencies is $377,297.60, which is not included in this budget. We have increases from county department and other government of $2,041,230, which is not included in this budget. This budget meets our basic needs. We did not have room for anything else. Now, as we go through this budget, maybe we will identify some additional revenues, but I have reviewed this budget over and over and over again. The summary of all the budget requests that we have not addressed with outside agency and county departments and other government is $2,418,527. You have your list before you of those breakdown. I met with our enterprise fleet manager. Tuesday, I met with him because I wanted to get a feel for how our budget for the enterprise fleet vehicles that we are leasing through enterprise fleet will impact our budget next year. This information is not in the budget. According to my meeting with him, he said we need to prepare for this. We need to prepare for acquisition costs on new vehicles to acquire new vehicles, a 13% increase. It's not in the budget. We need to also prepare for maintenance costs, increased maintenance costs of our fleet vehicles of 17%. Our fuel costs, he's estimating, because we have a large fleet, of 38% increase. I addressed some of the increase above, but not all. Interest rate, if we decide to acquire new vehicles, the interest rate is going to be increased by 2.2%. The insurance premium on vehicles, 9%. I do have one recommendation that I would like to make to members of council. I would like to recommend that we consider using the look-back millage allowed by the state to keep up with the inflation and offset operating deficit. Other counties are taking advantage of this look-back millage. And this millage says you can only increase your millage every year in small increments. If we start looking and taking advantage of the small incremental increases in millage, we will not have to make a large increase in our millage rate at one time. So I do encourage council to consider looking at the look-back millage allowed by the state to keep up with inflation. The inflation rate, let me share with you the inflation rate over the past 3 years. The inflation rate for 2021 was 7%. 2022 was 4.3%. Next year is projected that the inflation rate will go down a little, and it will be 3.1%. But this budget has not addressed the inflation rates either. County employees, they have not had an increase since 2007, a cost of living increase in 2007. When we get any new revenues in, let's remember our county employees. The state has increased their cost of living increases for county employees over the past 3 years by 10%. One year they got 2021 they got 7%. This current year they got 2%, and next year I believe they're getting 3%. We have not had a cost of living increase for county employees since 2017. So when we do identify future new revenues, let's remember our county employees. Now we are ready for the budget review. Do we have any question about any of the information that was presented to you so far? Okay. Let's look at the revenues. The current real has gone up slightly. Delinquent property taxes, I'm just going to identify some of them. Boat and motor taxes, let me just say, the state passed a law where we collect boat and motor taxes every year instead of every 3 years. So we're seeing an increase in revenues from that revenue source. Our fee in lieu, we adjust our fee in lieu agreements to compensate for depreciation of equipment. And we just do a slight decrease. We don't do anything major, just to acknowledge. And we normally do about 10% for the depreciation of equipment. So we do have a couple new fee in lieu agreements on board, and which is a good thing. I encourage the county to get into fee in lieu agreements to help the county generate additional revenues, as long as we don't give the cow and the farm away. So I do encourage those type of relationship. The other taxes have increased. I'm going to ask Attorney Jenkinson to join me, and let's talk about the other taxes, particularly the hospital overage. Would you like to come and join me?
In the past decades, we have allotted 10 mills for the hospital revenue to pay $600,000 a year for the support of our hospital. The revenue bond that bailed out the hospital in 2012 will be paid off in 40 years from 2012. The hospital, as you know, is closing. The hospital is going to pay the balance of that bond issue, which is around $6.5 million, for which the county is liable, and the hospital. So it will take the pressure off of the hospital because that bond issue, and that's why we have not done anything with these funds knowing that liability was present. The hospital will pay off that money in September, okay? Now, that being said, it's going to take away any ability of the hospital to close. Now, let me explain that. We will be moving into the new hospital starting 1 October. It will not open until 1 January. When it opens, the hospital, Williamsburg Regional Hospital, will continue to have to operate for a number of years, estimated 3 to 5 years. Okay, now, you say, what is going on? It takes that long to close out the corporate books. In a hospital, you know, there's umpteen numbers of insurance policies that cover patients that are treated there. All of those collections are going to have to be generated. There's all kinds of clawbacks involving Medicare, Medicaid, and other funds that are paid to the hospital. They're going to have staff to remain to close the hospital. Now, we've got a good benchmark to use, and that's the closure of a number of rural hospitals in the state. For example, Bamberg, and there are several others. We have gone, and I say we, the hospital board, as you know, the supervisor and I are ex officio members of that board. We're not voting members, but because the hospital is so linked to the citizens and the government and these bond issues, we sit there, and so we are privy to all kinds of things. It's called a closure expenses. Now, the closure expenses will continue. Okay, so the hospital is anticipating the closure expenses running $3 to $6 million over the next 5 years. Okay, so what we're going to do in this budget and propose is to leave the $600,000 a year, which over 5 years will generate around $3 million. That may or may not be enough, but we want to continue to collect that because it's still being used for hospital purposes. And until that time, we won't know. So what we've set up in this budget is limiting the millage not to the 10 million mills that used to be there. Is we've now recalculated and recalibrated where 6 mills will go to the hospital, not 10, and then we're going to take the 4 mills and move that over into the general fund. And that's been recommended by bond counsel, government lawyers. We've worked this over in great detail. That way, the county will continue to support this hospital because we've got this closure, and the hospital is giving away all their revenue from this, to pay off this bond issue, and we, in a partnership with our hospital, continue to have that relationship and that financial obligation, which they are working hand in glove with us and making sure that the county is not suffering any financial liability as a result of that bond issue, which we all collaborated on back in 2012. So this budget has 6 mills allocated to the hospital, and the remaining millage will go to the general fund. It's been collected every year. This is not a tax increase. I'll say that again. This is not a tax increase. It's just a readjustment of the budget allocations based upon the passage of time and what the hospital is going to be doing over the next 3 to 5 years.
And
So,
council, and please also mention that it's in the current budget ordinance that any excess millage from the hospital goes to support the operation under general fund. So it's been in the ordinance for many of years.
right.
We're
So
just formally restructuring it.
we are just ratifying and clarifying what was already been in existence, and we're not increasing any taxes. We just felt like it was important to bring this to your attention to make sure we understand from a budget function, we're moving some stuff around, moving money around, no new money. It's just reallocating this hospital to where we are and where we will be over the next 3 to 5 years. Any questions? Thank you.
Nope. Good information from you, Ms. Nelson and Ms. Jenkins.
Attached to the handout that was provided to you is how it was broken down. You will see 100% collection and 95% collection. The information was based on 95% collection to be on the safe side. Okay, so that we normally get anywhere from $277,000 a year from the excess millage from the hospital. So if you look at 413 to subtract the 277. That's what the additional revenue will be. Okay. Do we have any questions about other taxes? Okay. Our mobile home inspection. Our building permits are coming up a little. It's not where we would like for it to be, but we hope that more housing activity will take place in the future. Total federal revenues, the only federal revenues that we expect next year is from DSS, our 1126 reimbursement from the state of Department of Social Services. That revenue may go down because the reimbursement rate has gone down, so that rate may go down next year. The state revenues. The state revenues, state aid to local government. We got some figures, but we have not received any final figures yet, so we're using last year figures for our state aid to local government. We do have a new source of revenue. The state has approved a salary supplement for the sheriff, probate court, and the clerk of court. Each of them will receive an annual recurring. This is recurring. This will happen every year. I confirmed it with South Carolina with Attorney Lassane yesterday, and he said this is recurring revenue. They will expect this salary supplement of $15,000 every year. So you see that it's a new line item in the budget. When we get to the expenditure side, we will also see it in their departmental budgets as well.
I'm
Do we
sorry,
have-
you have that? Where do you have that at?
Yes, from the state, yes. And I think Madam Supervisor and Madam Clerk forwarded that email to everyone yesterday. So if you didn't get a chance, go back and open up your email and you will see the detail. We also, at the last minute, yesterday, didn't have a chance because I didn't get the information from the coroner. The state is also approving a $35,000 supplement for the coroner's office, and she can decide, I don't have a spending plan yet, how she wants to spend that $35,000 in her budget. So that may be, or no, it will be one of the final revision at third reading. I did not have enough information to include it in the but for the budget review today. So please make note of that, to expect a $35,000 increase in the coroner budget with new funds from the state as well.
Ms. Liz, you, for the supplemental salaries, that was authorized by the state, you have that under a different line item?
The supplemental salary for the expenses, yes. I put it within the department so we can see it during third reading. And then what I need to do is because it will become a part of their full-time salary. So I will increase the full-time line item at our final reading, but I just put it in so that they can see it. Has salary supplement in each one of those departments, and then before third reading, I will increase the full-time salary line item. Keep in mind, we have to take out FICA and retirement and all that stuff. So once I back all that stuff out, I will increase their salary line item to show that.
Okay.
For third reading. So that will be a revision for third reading. I will move it out of that temporary, just for budget review, local government salary supplement, and I will move it up to the full-time salary line item.
Okay.
And is that, Is that increase, I know it's coming from the state, is that $15,000 per employee?
It's
Per
per
in-
person.
Per
Each
person?
person will get 15,000. Yeah, the total increase is 45. Each of them will get 15. The sheriff will get a recurring now. This is every year.
Every year.
15,000. Probate court will get 15,000. Clerk of court will get 15,000 every year from the state.
Well, I think the question was, is that for her to pay her employees, or is that?
No, that goes,
Okay, I'm sorry. That's for the elected officials themselves. No, it's not for employees. It's for the elected officials.
Okay.
Yes.
And probate judges, right? 'Cause- okay.
Yes, the sheriff, clerk of court, and probate judge. Each of them will get a recurring salary supplement of 15,000 per year.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Okay, nothing really major, and those charges. Our solid waste disposal fee went up slightly, not a whole lot, but slightly. Just slightly, I'm just trying to identify. Our emergency medical services, those revenues, are going down. And I don't know if people are, if we're still in the pre-pandemic mode and people are not, taking advantage or calling for medical services from EMS, but those revenues are going down. Those revenues, we probably need to go back and look at next year and see if they're going to come back, rebound from the pandemic environment. Some of the other, I'm just pointing out some of the major changes. Business registration fee. Dr. Cooks and I, we were having a conversation about the business registration fee, and she saw something that I missed. I normally don't miss things, but I missed this one. Dr. Cooks, can you please give them an update on the business registration fee?
So again, that's something that we're going to have to definitely make sure we scrub out with our county attorney. And just for most of you who may not know, the governor did sign in that we would still be able to receive our road maintenance fee funding. And it's a whole lot of jargon with that. But for the most part, we are not on the hook anymore for that road maintenance fee. It is a legal transaction, as long as it's within, it's, like I said, it's a lot of stuff with that. But you all have, I did send you all a copy of it. Hopefully you all received it yesterday. Also, there is another piece of legislation that was approved with that involving the use of a business license fee. Currently, right now, we have a $15 fee for our businesses. For any businesses, every year they do a renewal of $15. Well, the state is given the authority for us to do not just not a $15 fee, but also tying it into the gross revenue of that particular business. So that is a significant potential hike in revenue for the county. So that means all businesses go across the board will have the potential to pay according to what they gross for that year.
So-
And obviously that information will be received from the IRS.
So Doc, the Cooks, is that for unincorporated areas? Because some towns have business license
Correct.
fees. So that is only for the unincorporated areas of the county, right?
That is for, yes. Because I believe there's other municipalities that do this right now. I believe so. I just don't want to call them out right now. But yes, it's according to the gross.
I know during the Treem Administration, we attempted to do a business license program, and it was not passed. So does this new business license fee, will it require the majority vote of council?
So what we will be looking at is South Carolina, that could potentially impact our budget is South Carolina 12-37-220,
Okay.
along with sections 12-39-250 and 12-37-220. Those are the two that we will be focusing on. One deals with the exemption for survival spouses as far as being exempted from paying taxes, our property taxes, and then it goes into talking about the exemptions for our farmers and their facilities that they use to farm out of. So it's a list of things that have been signed into law as of yesterday.
I mean, this
Okay.
is just for information purposes only, is that correct? I mean, we're not looking to pass this at this point to balance this budget, correct?
No,
Okay.
but it needs to be
Future thought,
yeah.
future thought. Ms.
Yes.
Beyond my
Something to
time.
look into
Yes.
to generate revenues to meet these increasing costs and of operation in the future. Okay. So, as you can see, total general fund revenues for the proposed fiscal year 22-23 is $21,930,578. If you see, you go down on page 2, you will see the total general fund.
Excuse me, Liz. Let me just say one thing to Councilman Floyd. It's going to also depend on how we're going to deal with the impacts of not receiving the funding, the tax revenue from farm buildings, as well as those surviving spouses. How that's going to impact. We just hadn't had time to scrub all that out because that could decrease our revenue too.
But this is
So.
something we could be looking at, 'cause like I said, I got the email
Mm-hmm.
last night from, I think it was from you, if I'm not mistaken, about the bill that passed. But it's something we got to look at, so we can read it and then
Mm-hmm. Right.
embrace it and see what's
Right.
the
Well, you-
ins and outs of it.
Well, yeah, that part, but yeah, you may have to do an amendment because if, say, for example, the revenue from those farm buildings or those survivor spouses, negates or takes out of our revenue source $500,000. Well, we're gonna have to adjust the budget for that. That's amended for that.
Much like we did the hospitals.
Correct.
this year.
Correct.
Yeah. And those amendments can take place like you have informed in Dr. Cook's after the budget has been
Correct.
approved. The amendments can be made to the budget, the current approved budget. Okay, so the other fund, the share fund, nothing has changed. Rural fire fund, we kept everything the same, except, these funds are self-sufficient funds. The focus during in preparation of the budget was spending a lot of time in the general fund because the general fund accounts for about 84% of the county's operation. The state grant fund, we do have one new grant program for that fund, and it's the vital agent, the pavilion for the vital agent, and that grant is $128,810. Debt service, no change. Industrial park, no change. Capital project fund, no change. Capital project sales tax, we expect the same revenues to come in. Landfill special fee, this is for post-closure of our landfill, no change. The water and sewer fund is a self-sufficient fund. The total for all funds is $38,328,466. That's the total of all revenues for all fund types and all county department and funds. Let's move on to the expenditure.
And also, let me just make sure you take note that with the budget being, just remember that with the budget being as it is right now in its current state, being balanced, those lists of requests that were made, you all will have to make sure you fill out the sheet as far as approving or disapproving them. So we can actually put them in, advise those departments if their funding sources and increases were approved.
Okay. In the county departments for the general fund, we have adjusted the budget to account for the increases in the group health insurance. And as mentioned earlier, those increases amounted to $242,347.01. When we started the process, when we got the notification from the state, we were like, how are we going to pay for those increases, those unfunded mandates? But we have to pay for it because they will send us an invoice every quarter or every month. So the departments do show the increases in the group health insurance. There is nothing else significant in the county departments except for those expenses. And I'm not going to go through every department. What I encourage you to do is take this and look at it and get a chance to look at it. And if we need another budget review meeting before final reading, we can call a special meeting, or you can email me and you can ask me questions about the budget. But the only major changes is in group health insurance, retirement, gas and fuel, and electricity. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough money to increase all the gas and fuel accounts. So I had to target the limited resources and allocate them to our public safety departments, because we need to make sure that our police cars are running. We need to make sure that our EMS ambulances are running, and our vehicles for EMD and E911 and other public safety departments, they got very little, but not as much as they should have been allocated, because the focus was on the other departments. So you may want to go ahead and look at those as well, with the concentration being with public safety. Okay. If you go to page, let me take you to page, forgot to mention, alcohol and drug. We replace alcohol and drug with Circle Park. So when you go under other county government, which includes the library, transit, and now Circle Park, Circle Park has taken over the appropriation that was formerly given to behavior health, also known as alcohol and drug. So you will see where I split up the appropriation for Circle Park. I put some of it, because we will be responsible for their utilities. Under other expenses, you will see Circle Park utilities. It's the difference between what the appropriation we used to give to alcohol, behavior health, and now to Circle Park, and also paying for their utilities per the agreement with them. If you go to page, I'm trying to take you to, if you go to page 18, you see the total general fund expenditures at third reading. It agrees with the revenues that we expect to receive for the general fund. The General fund expenses is $21,930,578. The total for all funds, expenses for all funds, is $38,328,466. All funds have been balanced, both revenues and expenditures as of today. Do we have any questions? Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for your hard work, Ms. Nelson, in getting
You're
this budget
welcome.
balanced.
So I think one of the things that we need to decide before we go, before we approve third reading is, again, what are we going to do about these particular people and outside agencies and our county departments? If you look on there, you'll see all the amounts that these outside agencies requested. And
Yeah, that does. As it stands right now, we don't have the funding, correct?
correct.
So,
As of right now, we've got a balanced budget. I don't know of any additional revenue to cover these requests, so. You know, I think we approve the budget as presented by Ms. Nelson would be my suggestion. I know we can't do it today, but that's where I am. I don't know how everybody else feels.
I agree with that too, because, I think we have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure the budget is, balanced. And then if we have any other income coming in at that time, we can always come back and modify the budget and maybe help those, departments out.
Okay, any other questions?
Can I go home? I've
Yes.
been sleeping.
When
I've been working a lot of late nights because
When are you retiring?
And she leaves June, 7 days.
7 days?
7 days.
Wow.
This was,
Okay, thank you.
No comments.
yes, sir. It's a work session, sure.
Okay. From the time I appeared before the Finance Committee here a few weeks back, up until this prepared third reading, like you say, your balanced budget, was there any consideration into the request I made at that time as to a part of the balanced budget itself?
There's
Did council-
consideration into every request, not just yours, every request.
I guess what I'm asking, I understand what you just said, that's, it's a blanket situation. I'm talking specifically to mine. Did council itself discuss the appropriation either being replaced or anything? Was there any conversation with the entire council about the appropriation of the funds for the Kennedy Center? And I guess I'm referring to more so Councilman Miller and Woods, because like I said at the time, we will have 4 persons at this Kennedy Center. The vast majority of them are from Lanes, Salters, Trio, like Mr. Wells said. And, but I guess it would be just up to Vital Agent then to find the funds. But I just wondered whether those council members was a part of the discussion as to the increase in that fund.
They're not here, Mr. Parker, I can't answer
Well,
that question.
I do know that everyone received a copy of this along with your budget requests. Everyone did that sits on council. So, at that point, our job is just to present them with the information, and it's for them to decide upon it. So they all should have received that request. But the final budget is not going to be voted on until next week, Tuesday. So it's not approved yet, it's just presented.
Okay.
for discussion.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, so we need, if nothing else has been brought before the body, we need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjournment, please signify by raising your hand. Opposers, the same. Thank you, members of council. Williamsburg County citizens.
Meeting is adjourned, Mr. Lake.
Thank you for doing this.
You're quite welcome.